The Leela Palace Udaipur is beautiful, there's no question about it, but there are quite a few rough edges here that make me wonder if it's a good choice. We've got the full tour coming up, so let's get into it. Welcome to Udaipur. If you'd like to know the exact rate that I paid for my stay here, or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out the description below. And if you're new to the channel, hi there, and welcome, my name is Kevin. Frankly, I think the world needs a bit more honest travel content these days, so I make airline trip reports, high-end hotel reviews, and cruise ship tours as well, all without invitation. I always film without the company's knowledge, and I self-fund my trips to be sure to get a true experience. And then, I give you nothing more than my own personal, honest, unbiased opinion. Here we are, pretending to drive to Leela, but the truth is, I was actually already on the lake, so it was just a short and leisurely boat ride away. If you're not arriving by their transport, make sure you pre-arrange your arrival time with the hotel. Prior to my arrival, I received no less than 6 emails and a phone call asking for my exact details. So, I would like to get one thing out of the way when it comes to this video. You'll see by the end of the video that Leela is not my pick for Udaipur. But it's not because it's a horrible experience. It's because my scores are relative to the price that I pay and the competition. I assure you, I always do my best to pay the lowest price, but the Leela is expensive. And when you're competing against the likes of the Taj Lake Palace and Raffles, you need to deliver. When you arrive, you'll be greeted by a pair of musicians and led directly to your room from the lobby, which we'll have a look at now. Opened in 2009, this Leela has 80 rooms and villas and is frankly one of the best plots of land in the city. I'll explain why later. The Leela Palaces in general provide a very specific type of luxury. One that is opulent and full of fine details, but often skirts the line of being just a bit too much. Of course, this is all up to personal taste. But if you've never been to one of these properties, you should be well prepared to be wowed in many ways. The first Leela was opened by Captain C.P. Krishnan Nair in 1986 near the airport in Mumbai. Over the years, he expanded the brand, which is now owned by Brookfield Asset Management. They currently have 12 properties with 2 in development. The lobby is a small rotunda with seating areas and corridors leading off of it. This is where we can start to see what makes Leela properties so special. Nair's background dabbled heavily in the textile trade, and that is one enduring theme in all Leela hotels which really stands out from the rest. The fabrics, textiles, and linens here are truly some of the best and most beautiful that you're going to find. And their pillow creases are always sharp as a knife. This brings me to my first big point of the video. Leela is a sensory experience. A lot of this has to do with them having and using pretty extensively their own line of spa products, Tisha. That, plus flowers literally everywhere, just drape the hotel in a sense of humid tropical luxury, which plays really nicely against the visual impact that the hotel has. If you'd like to know more about the history of Leela, please check out my incredible Leela Bengaluru review, linked above and below. As is true with all of the India videos I have coming in this series, well, almost all of them, these properties are all about finer, curated details. Outside, the hotel has a few personalities on display. The first one is this striking plaza of sorts, decked out in black and white patterned tile, overlooking Lake Pichola. Those black and white tiles, possibly your first clue that the architect for this property was actually Bill Bensley, whose name finds its way onto this channel almost as much as mine does. The interior designer was Jeffrey Wilkes. The design is described as, quote, unparalleled opulence, an ode to the land of the memoirs, using traditional artisanal crafts and exquisite embellishments that are inspired by the rich cultural heritage of Rajasthan. By the way, let me note that some of these India videos are pretty lengthy. Not to worry, I'm definitely not going to be talking the entire time, so feel free to sit back and relax, or put on your own soundtrack and follow along with the published subtitles. One of the reasons for this plot being so fantastic, well, the reason really, it's all about the views. Built out just a little bit from the coastline, the property offers unparalleled views of Udaipur's Old City, the Taj Lake Palace, the Aravalli Mountains, and much more which we'll see at sunset. If you support the content that I've been putting out on the channel, or just honest travel content in general, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Those are the easiest ways that you can tell YouTube that this video is worth your time. For anyone interested in supporting further, my Patreon is also linked in the description below. Thanks very much for watching and supporting today. Here we are, arriving at the primary pool area. Just next to the pool area is the on-site spa, which has its own hidden pool of sorts, though I think it was going through a shock at the time. As big of a role as fragrances play in the interior ambiance, the landscaping and pruning plays out here, where staff, dressed in full traditional garb mind you, keep it looking pristine. I do believe this is the first time I've ever seen someone sweeping grass. Rajasthan, the land of kings, is a state in the far northwest of India. The hotel is only accessible to guests by boat, so it's around a 45-minute drive from the airport to their pier. Once at the pier, you'll be whisked away in one of their massive and stable boats, which will take you to the property, passing by the old town, the Taj Lake Palace, and Oberoi Udaipur. Let's head inside now. This is one of the corridors off of the lobby rotunda, which connects the venues with the different wings of the hotel. You'll notice the same beautiful textiles and many local touches as well. On the right side, you can see some of the wooden carved jolly panels, and the large columns have beautiful mirrored tikri mosaic art, which you'll find throughout the property. Just off of the corridor is the beautiful interior courtyard, which glows at night during the evening cultural performances, which you'll see a bit later. Let's talk about the second big point for this video. The food on offer was just lazy. There's really no other way to say it. I had a full board package, and so I had lunch here on my first day. I ordered a tandoori broccoli starter and a tandoori paneer tikka pizza. Trust me, every night on this trip I had Indian food, so on the occasions when I did have lunch I always tried some Western options. The tandoori broccoli was one of the saddest dishes that I think I've received in India for one very specific reason. It wasn't cooked in a tandoor, it was microwaved. Anyone who has ever had microwave broccoli knows good and well what it tastes and chews like. It was topped with a Malai-esque topping, which had raw spices on top. I know it looks like the top is browned in the oven, but it's not. That's all raw spice powder. As for the pizza, topping-wise, it was, I guess, as I expected, but it's on one of those cracker-like pre-made frozen pizza crusts with their signature pre-poked holes to ensure that all of the flavor can escape like dreams go through a dream catcher. We'll explore more about the food later. Luckily, this was the low point. Alright, let's head up to my room. I had a Grand View King room booked, and they were kind enough to give me one of the rooms that had a balcony on check-in. There's one word that describes, I think, every Leela that I've ever stayed in, all 5 of them. The rooms specifically. Comfortable. They really are just designed with your comfort in mind. Surfaces are plush. Pillows are plentiful and karate chopped. Temperatures are cool, and the Tishia Kumud and Nilgiri fragrance fills the air. When I spoke with the hotel prior to arrival, they asked me if there was anything special that I'd like in the room. I mentioned that I'd prefer anything that wasn't instant coffee as a coffee option, preferably an espresso machine, which they had set up on my arrival. Context for asking this is that the Bengaluru property had really good pour-over sachets, but at their Chennai property, all they had was instant coffee. Also a shout out to the best pillow menu in the business. If there's not a pillow in that little Bible of a book that gives you a good night's sleep, I suggest you travel with your own hammock. Otherwise, the bar was nicely stocked with an assortment of teas and a variety of chargeable drinks and snacks. One thing that's always really impressed me about Leela's? The welcome treats. Honestly, they kick their competition's ass in this regard. It's also nice that at each property, it's a completely different treat or assortment of treats. Even the concepts are completely different. It's not just like, here you get a chocolate tart, there you get a lemon tart. It's just whatever's unique to that resort. A wonderfully wide and spacious working desk was fully stocked with all of the usual stationaries and stocks. And then we have a very different bathroom layout. On one side, we have a double vanity with some of their fancy mirrors above and plenty of tissue products all around. The thing that makes their scent so special is the Nilgiri flower, which is native to southern India and blooms only once every 12 years. In previous videos, I had a bunch of comments saying that Nilgiri was actually just eucalyptus, so I'm glad when Leela had a card here explaining it. Quote, inspired by the ancient Sanskrit word, which describes a sense of joy and happiness. We bring you Tishya by the Leela, our signature fragrance, inspired by the national flower of our country, kumud, or lotus, and the wonder flower, Nilgiri, or Nila Karinji, that blossoms once every 12 years. In the shower, there was also a very Oberoi-esque shower head, as well as a handheld, and on the other side was a toilet room. Across from this were two more sliding doors. On the right side is a small room with a large soaking tub. Behind the other door is a nicely sized walk-in closet. As we head out to take a look at this spectacular view, honestly, I do think it has to be one of the best views in Udaipur. Let's talk about details. Here's 3 details in the room that I wasn't really a fan of. Number 3, the outlet positioning is just odd and not cohesive with having to plug in lots of your devices. Number 2 was that disjointed bathroom layout. I see what they were going for, and likely they just wanted to be different, but the soaking tub room just felt odd. Some might say it felt cozy. I just thought it was out of place. Number 1 is the doors leading out to the balcony. The doors swing quite freely, and there's a major pinch hazard, especially if you have kids or an adult like me. As for my 3 favorite details, I have a feeling you might know a couple. Well, number 3 has to be the tissue products. I can't not mention them. Number 2 is a really small detail. On their logo, more of their seal really, their brand name is in Hindi. I love that. I wish more companies of all types would do that. I am very fortunate to be a native English speaker. It makes traveling a lot easier than for other people. But everything around the world being in English these days, it makes the brands that are true to their culture or language just a bit more special to me. Number 1, it's that view. I guess it's not a small detail, but it's gotta take the number 1 spot. So, who's staying here? Compared to the other properties I visited in Udaipur, the crowd here seemed much younger and family-oriented with kids of all ages. Alright, let's check out some of the venues on site. First up is the library bar. Before we head to dinner, I want to talk about my 3rd big point for this video. The afternoon sunset ambiance here, it's incredible. The velvet umbrellas are raised, the marble benches are actually cool enough to touch, and the view of the sunset is spectacular, drenching everything in beautiful golden light, and of course bar service is available anywhere you'd like, with soft music in the background. Out here, we also have the specialty Indian restaurant, Shish Mahal. Now, I do have a bone to pick here. For Shish Mahal, dinner is in seatings. First is at 7 p.m. and second is at 9:30. The problem is, their cultural show, which was actually really good, is also at 7 p.m. The show's around 45 minutes long, so it completely rules out the first seating. And for me personally, 9:30 is just too late for dinner. So, is this a very personal bone to pick? Yes, it won't affect everyone. But yeah, that's why I didn't eat here. If you have a full board package, by the way, you can dine here for an additional supplement. Finally, we can catch the sunset behind the Monsoon Palace. The Monsoon Palace called such because it was built on top of a mountain to ensure that the monsoonal rains all flowed away from it. Enjoy a few bits of the cultural show. I had dinner at the dining room, same place as lunch. As you can see, lighting was a bit dim, so we're going to focus with photos. My tandoori paneer starter was flavorful, and the chicken ka makul was also nice, though a bit mild. In general, the food here was good, but just quite basic. For dessert, I had one of probably 10 halwas that I had on this trip. A semolina steamed pudding. The next morning, after a few glowing views of the Taj Lake Palace, it's time for breakfast. Located in the dining room, breakfast was a small buffet with an additional a la carte menu. And let me just note that I don't think the design inside the dining room or the library bar matched the rest of the hotel. This restaurant and the library bar both had a bit of a generic feel to it that you didn't get in the rest of the hotel. Let's talk about service. I have mixed feelings about it here. By all means, all staff were very well-intentioned, friendly, and tried to be accommodating. But in general, it just seemed like the staff here, especially in the venues, were just very young and clearly haven't had that many years of training. They're trying, but when you're paying almost $500 a night, the same or more as the Oberoi and Taj, both of which have professional lifelong servers, it leaves a bit of that polish to be desired. Breakfast was just okay. I understand perhaps that during low season they may trim things back, but in that case I think a fully a la carte expanded menu might just be the way to go. This just felt a bit budget to me. I ordered a paneer paratha, which was very good, though granted I don't think I've ever had a bad paratha, and eggs benedict. They tasted alright, but take a look. If I'm honest, the color, or rather the lack of color of the yolks, freaked me out enough to Google if they were safe to eat. They were safe, but from what I read, lighter color yolks generally occur when hens are on low quality feed, so make of that whatever you will. One thing I didn't explain yet, Leela isn't an island, but is also not accessible by car, or so I was told. I'm guessing that there are just narrow alleyways connecting it to the city, so you're going to need to take the boat to the mainland pier, which will have your car waiting for you. And again, I do have to say they do have the nicest boats on the lake, by a long shot. So overall, just about anywhere else, this would be an incredible hotel. And here it is a beautiful hotel, but it has a few opportunities that it needs to address, especially some of the food. Fact of the matter is that that menu, that all-day menu with an Asian section, an Indian section, a Western section, it's just way too diverse for any time of year, but especially in low season. As I mentioned in my community post, it's hard to not feel like the Leela here is just a bit contrived when comparing it to the other Tajes here, the Uday Villas, and Raffles. They are all palaces or majestic properties. I understand that the Leela calls themselves a modern palace, but they're more of a beautiful hotel. That's fine, but in this case, it's just overpriced then. In the end though, I think it just comes down to personal taste. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please be sure to click that thumbs up button, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming India content. I'll see you next time on the flight that brought me from Delhi to Udaipur on Air India. Oh, and thanks for watching until the end.